And Texas Department of Public Safety Director Steve McCraw, along with other officers, testified less than 24 hours ago before a grand jury in Uvalde. On your screen right now is video showing McCraw leaving that hearing in a black Suburban just before noon. Now the grand jury will decide what charges, if any, will be filed for the slow response at Robb Elementary School back in May of 2022. From the moment the gunman entered the school, it took officers 77 minutes to finally confront that shooter.
And we know in that time, 19 children and 2 teachers were killed. Joining us live now this morning is investigative reporter Tony Plahetsky from our sister station, KVUE in Austin. This is a story we've been following for almost 2 years now. And Tony, you were instrumental in this investigation 2 years ago. What stands out to you about this hearing?
One of the facts is that the grand jurors are obviously wanting to hear from the involved participants in that botched response for themselves. In other words, they are not simply relying on statements they may have made, officers may have made, or even agency heads may have made, but rather they are actually ordering them to appear before the grand jury so those grand jurors can actually ask their own questions and follow up on things that those officials and officers may have said. And so because of that, we are not expecting this grand jury to make any sort of decision imminently. It could take weeks, possibly months, because of the level of thoroughness in this grand jury review.
And Tony, for years now, so many of these officers and law enforcement agencies have been under a microscope. What charges could these officers potentially face, and when would a decision like that come down?
There could be an array of felony or misdemeanor charges, but one of the charges that I understand prosecutors are likely to consider is a charge of child endangerment. That is a felony here in Texas, especially when a child dies. But in terms of what charges may ultimately result, that, of course, is an open question. Legal experts have steadfastly said that in situations like this, it may be difficult to sustain a criminal charge. But in terms of the grand jury's actions, keep in mind that in Texas, it takes 9 of 12 grand jurors to issue an indictment, to bring a criminal charge. But again, that is a process that we are not expecting quickly. It could, in fact, take into the spring, possibly well into the spring.
All right, Tony Plahetsky, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Meanwhile, we will continue to stay on top of this story as new details come to light. For now, you can watch our full coverage on KTOU.com.